30 Grandchildren Badge Attempt, Part 9. Hello, Carrots here, and welcome. In this episode, we are going to be in France. Only a few members of the household who have a specific need for being in France are travelling. So we've arrived in France at the base camp. With 11 Sims in the travelling party and no tents owned by any of them, I'm worried a little about how they're all going to find somewhere to sleep at the base camp. Each of the travellers is there for a specific purpose. It's either to complete a lifetime wish or to complete an opportunity. They're not there to do tombs. If an opportunity comes up for one of them to do a tomb, I may let them complete that opportunity that they get while they're in France. But I won't be going through the tomb showing you their progress. If you're interested in seeing the detailed walkthroughs of tombs, that's available in another series, the Isla Paradiso bunch, in playlist 2, where that group of Sims travels through all of the tombs in all of the worlds, and they have complete walkthroughs, even tombs that are not part of an opportunity. This video series that we're watching now is about getting the head of the family badge, which requires you to get your Sim to have 30 grandchildren. I've been making a bit of a game of it just to make it a bit more interesting. We'll keep this series going until we get the badge. It may take a few generations, and that is why this group have been sent to France. They live in Cake Island, and I've had a bit of a problem with them collecting things in that world. They are spawners, but they don't seem to spawn very often, and the children have aged up to teen and they still haven't caught everything they're supposed to catch for their opportunities. And I thought it's easy to catch things in France. I didn't actually want to add extra spawners to Cake Island, and that's why I've sent them all to France to see if they can catch the things or collect the things they need to do to complete their childhood opportunities, because quite a few of them are about to age up to young adult and they're still working on opportunities they got as small children. Now, in my regular games I don't usually worry about these opportunities, but for some reason I've decided to do them in this series. So it has led to them all heading off to France in a somewhat desperate attempt to complete opportunities that should have been completed before they aged up to teens. What are those opportunities, you may ask, and why France? Well, first up, Jerry had to deliver a painting to France. Unfortunately, I neglected to notice that it had to be worth 750 simoleons. She took a painting with her that she painted, but it was only worth maybe 5 simoleons, so she didn't complete the opportunity, so I cancelled it. Several of the children have got an opportunity. They have to travel to France to do a cultural interview. So France it is going to be. And I thought, if they're going to France, I might as well send along the ones who have got other opportunities, such as to catch butterflies, beetles, or find metals and gems. These are the last 3 types of opportunity that have carried over from their early childhood. The butterfly bonanza requires them to catch a moth, a monarch butterfly, a red admiral butterfly, and a mission blue butterfly. The beetle quest requires 1 water beetle, a rhinoceros beetle, a light beetle, and a ladybug. Rare elements requires them to collect 1 piece of silver, a piece of iron, an emerald gem, and a ruby gem. Additionally, there's the lifetime wish of zoologist that requires a Sim to catch 20 minor pets in the wild. It's becoming autumn in the game now, and the minor pets seem to have dried up, and I didn't want to keep the Sims with this lifetime wish as teens just because they hadn't completed their lifetime wish. So I sent one of them to France with the rest of them to see if she could find a couple of minor pets to catch in the wild. Our travellers include Jerry, who was to deliver a painting, but that was a failure. Alicia had to collect 2 more minor pets in the wild. The cultural interviews were for Wilfred, Dolores and Megan. Butterfly Bonanza were Felicia and Joni. Beetle Quest were for Javin and Sharona. And Rare Elements were Kendall, Kobe and Megan. Now Megan has 2 things to do, so now we begin in France. Wilfred races off to the market and finds a local and completes his cultural interview very quickly. He learns a song there first though. He thought he'd better get to know her a bit better before he interviewed her. Wilfred's interview went through so quickly that he just stood there wondering what to do next. Then Dolores went to the bookshop and interviewed the bookshop attendant. That was another very quick interview, but she had completed her opportunity. The final interview was done by Megan. After greeting her local in looks like the relic shop, the interview went just as quickly as the other two. So then the cultural interviews were all complete. So the next one who did something exciting was Alicia. She went off to catch a few minor pets. And she did that fairly quickly and completed her lifetime wish and collected her 25,000 lifetime happiness points. Now the problems all started with the other three types of opportunities: Butterfly Bonanza, the Beetle Quest and the Rare Elements. I discovered that the World Adventure Worlds don't recognise that the Sims have an opportunity, and it's impossible to know where the items can be found because they don't have enough lifetime happiness points yet to buy a collection helper. And not only that, there was nothing to say what they needed to find. It was just a very cryptic note that they had an opportunity at home called Butterfly Bonanza or Beetle Quest or Rare Elements. So I didn't really know what butterflies, beetles or rare elements needed to be caught or found. But we did see the train, which was great. Don't often see it up that close. I had a look for the city too. If you've been watching the Isla Paradiso bunch, you know there's a beautiful city off in the distance, but it's not visible to this household. One night there was a unicorn at the pond. I watched the unicorn play around all by itself. They usually have a group of other horses, and I was really pleased to get a white unicorn this time. Usually I have black unicorns in my games, and they're so hard to film. It was extra dark on this night though, so it was still difficult to film. Anyway, Wilfred, who didn't have a lifetime wish yet, he went down there to play with the unicorn. He spent a long time watching it, and it became quite friendly with him in the end. And then he decided that he wanted his lifetime wish be the one that gets him to adopt a unicorn. Of course, he didn't know the unicorn well enough to adopt it by the time he went home, so he's actually not really made any progress at all. He's just got himself a lifetime wish that's going to be very time consuming to complete. I don't think I'll hold him back as a teen until he's got that one. Because realistically, if he is going to get that lifetime wish, he's going to need a house of his own with a stable in it to keep his unicorn. And I don't think there's enough empty space on their lot that they all live in back in Cake Island for him to be able to keep his unicorn. I suppose they could buy a second lot and just put the unicorn with its stable on that extra lot. We'll see what transpires in future episodes. It's not going to happen in this episode. Now, while Wilfred is getting to know his unicorn and making friends, some of the others are out catching any sort of flying insect they can find. And at night time, there are lots of fireflies around. And Alicia is catching fireflies. They might get to start making elixirs later, and if they do, then they will have some ingredients, because you need fireflies for ingredients. And Felicia is one of the two that needs to get the butterfly collection. I'm not sure what butterflies they need to catch. I know that Red Admiral and Monarch and Mission Blue, they're fairly common. They should be able to get them while they're here. So I know from experience that the more butterflies and fireflies they catch, then the harder to find butterflies and fireflies are spawned. So I'll keep Alicia out there catching butterflies. It looks like that could be Wilfred there doing some fishing. He had to come to do a cultural interview. Now Alicia's gone across to the other side of the world, where I know the will-o'-the-wisps spawn occasionally, and she got lucky that night there was a will-o'-the-wisp there to catch. So Joni is the other one who's got to catch butterflies. This is the next day now, and Joni is going to catch as many butterflies as she can. Most of what she catches won't be used for the opportunity, but the Red Admiral is, and the ones that she doesn't have to hand in for her opportunity, providing she ever does get to complete it, then we'll keep them because they could be useful for elixirs. It's really not happy if you're wanting to make a particular elixir and you can't, especially if it's the only one left for you to make, and you can't make it because you don't have the ingredients, and it's the middle of winter and nothing is spawning. It's just so sad when that happens, so we'll keep a collection in the house. because I think this game might end up going for a few generations before we get that badge. Got to do a bit more research to make sure I'm doing it all right. You have to be logged in all of the time. I've read that, and mostly I've remembered to log in. I'm hoping it doesn't really start counting until the grandchildren start to be born. I do know that just having 30 grandchildren isn't enough. You have to meet other requirements as well, and those requirements are a little bit mysterious, because plenty of people have got the 30 grandchildren and not got the badge. Had a bit of a look around the scenery. Could not see that town. I even went directly above that house that my Isla Paradiso bunch Sims were living in. Yeah, the Isla Paradiso bunch are living in that big mansion, and you can see the city, the beautiful city in the distance, but not if you're not living in that house apparently. It must be a really hot day there today, as you can see the heat haze off in the distance. So that's Sharona. She's on the beetle quest, and she just picked up a beetle that she needs for her beetle quest. And that's a ladybug now she's going to get. I think she just got a rhinoceros beetle, and the ladybug bit her, she lost it. So she's not done too well. And the beetles, the only place I can think of where beetles will be generated is in the centre of the marketplace. Other beetles that are generated around the world, but they're mostly the beetles that come with this world, and they're not part of the beetle quest opportunity. So Javan and Sharona, who are on the beetle quest, that's Kobe she's talking to at the moment. So she's caught one beetle. I'm going to have to take them back to Cake Island and add lots of spawners, but it's autumn there now, so they'll probably not spawn now until winter. So I'm going to be restricted on who I can age up, or else just do what I did with Jerry's painting opportunity and cancel it. I suppose at least we got them to have a little bit of a holiday in France in an attempt to get their opportunities completed. See, even the gems and the metals that are lying around, you can find things, but they're not gold and iron and emerald and ruby. They're there, but they're impossible to find. So Joni is still working on catching butterflies. She's just catching butterflies. She's got a heap of red admirals now. And that one there that she's catching now, I've forgotten its name, but it's another one that is required from the butterfly bonanza opportunity. And that, the mission blue, interestingly, that's the symbol of a beach I used to visit when I was growing up. And the name of that beach is Mission Beach. And it's interesting that those butterflies are called Mission Blues. The butterfly at Mission Beach, though, is a bit brighter, and I think it's got a little bit more black on it. Jerry got an opportunity to go and report in, and it's the Celtic Foray tomb. So she's going to go off and do that tomb now. I was going to cancel it because I don't want them doing tombs. I won't show you her going through it. We've done that to death in the Isla Paradiso bunch. That'll keep her busy for a while, and I will do the tomb with her, obviously, and she might collect a few relics that she can take home. She's just buying some supplies, so she'll have something to eat, shower in a can, dried food in a tent. They're only in France for 3 days. It was while they were in France and collecting a few relics that Kobe decided he wanted a museum back at home. So that leaves only one of them without a lifetime wish, that's Sharona. So because Kobe wants to have a museum, he needs to get 20,000 simoleons worth of relics in the house. So we're going to have to go somewhere else for him to collect some more relics. It's bedlam at the base camp with so many Sims. I'm not even trying to control them. Jerry's come home from completing the Celtic Foray adventure. Kobe went to the bookshop and bought all of the necessary books from France, and they'll be going home shortly. So I might as well watch the mayhem. I think they've still got one more day, because I can recall that Joni she keeps on pushing the butterfly collecting. That's Joni and Javan having a pillow fight. Yes, Joni keeps on. I keep her at the butterfly collecting to see what sort of butterfly she can collect, because I notice particularly in France, if they keep on chasing butterflies constantly for a few days, they eventually start getting some of those butterflies you almost never see. So it'll be interesting. If she gets something exciting, I'll show you in the next flip over to the next bit. Poor Felicia has the loner trait, and although all of her needs were totally green, her portrait on the left-hand side of the screen was totally red, and it was all from all of the negative moodlets she's getting from having all these people around her at the base camp. I know one of them she had was too many people, but there were others as well. She had about 3 negative moodlets, and that was enough to bring her from what should have been completely green to bright red, her background. But when she left the base camp, she was fine. The moodlets went away quickly. The next day, with the final day, day 3 in France, Joni was out chasing butterflies, and she was going to keep chasing butterflies until she found some spectacularly different butterflies. There, look at that, the glowy butterflies. You hardly ever see them, but she is going to get a glowy butterfly. Sometimes I send my Sims to catch the glowy butterfly, and the butterfly bites them and they drop them. Hopefully she's good enough to keep hold of it. She's got it. So that's it for her butterfly collecting. She's going to catch a bird now. We'll sell it. And as it got dark, Joni was out there again chasing the fireflies. Because if you chase them constantly, you will start getting the rarer ones as well. The cerulean firefly is the one that I find the hardest to find. But while she's out chasing fireflies, it's fairly late at night when the fireflies come out. They don't tend to come out when it gets dark. It takes a while. And then that's it, going home. And that's the end of the video. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye for now, and happy simming.